For your safety, remain seated with the doors closed, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside while the tram is moving. And supervise your children.
Welcome, foolish mortals, to the Haunted Mansion.
'Cause this here's the wildest ride in the wilderness!
Soar into tower. We are ready for takeoff.
Dead men tell no tale.
I know not who you are, nor how I came to find you. But may I just say, I...
Come on, everybody. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Scott Atwood.
And I'm Michelle Atwood, and we are the owners of the Main Street Mouse.
And this is the Main Street Mouse Weekly Podcast, show number 143 for May 6th, 2024.
Hello, everyone, and happy Monday.
Happy Monday. We're back. Sorry we missed you guys last week.
Yeah, I'm so sorry that we missed our show last week, but we actually were not here.
No, we were driving. On Monday, what did we get to Tennessee on that day?
Yeah, we got to Tennessee that day.
Yeah, and we went and we walked around Tennessee. We had some fun, and then we finished driving the rest of the day and got home late Tuesday.
Right. So we apologize. I don't know if we had mentioned on the last show that we were going to be in Michigan for the week. I think we did.
I think we did all. I think when we did the last show, we talked about why we were in Michigan because we were coming live from your parents' basement.
Live from my parents' basement. I forgot about that. Yeah.
But it was a pretty good show. I mean, it was a lot shorter show than we normally did.
Right.
But we didn't want them to skip 2 weeks. So
No. And actually, we had every intention on doing one last week. But then, like you had said, we were at the NFL draft and we were around a lot of people. And I ended up getting kind of sick.
Kind of sick? She was very sick.
I wasn't very. I don't.
She was.
No. So Sunday I started coming down with something, and then Monday on the way home I was miserable. I was kind of miserable in Tennessee also, but I did do a whiskey tasting, and then I forgot about it for a little while.
That whiskey, that moonshine whiskey, always does help to.
Yeah, the moonshine. Oh, I forgot about it. Did moonshine? I bought whiskey.
Yeah,
that's right.
There you go. But yeah, we were originally going to leave Michigan on Sunday, but we ended up leaving on Monday, which threw everything off our whole schedule, which is why we weren't able to get home in time to record and even put a show out on Tuesday. So it kind of threw everything off there.
Well, we're kind of unpredictable. I mean,
just a little bit. But we really don't want to keep skipping. We would like to try to keep it up. So please take that. That was just a one-time thing, and hopefully we'll be here for quite a while now until you guys get sick of us.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're sick of us. But we've been doing this for a long time, so we appreciate you guys not getting sick of us as of yet. Or at least if you are, you don't act like you are. So thank you.
And I did want to mention, Facebook has been horrible lately.
Oh, my goodness.
On all of our business. So Main Street Mouse and Lost Princess Apparel. So if you guys could please make sure to share and tell your friends and whatever to help spread the word, because that is the only way we grow is through word of mouth. And nothing beats having somebody who's a longtime follower or even a short time newer follower sharing what we do with their friends and family and such to kind of help expand our reach, because Facebook, we're lucky if 1% of our followers see our posts and such. So it's kind of depressing actually when you look at the numbers and you see
between all our pages we have 500,000 followers and Facebook shows it to like 7.
So 8 on a good day, but still
8 on a good day. So please continue to share our content. We really, really, really appreciate it. It's very hard going up against the system, so to speak, and a lot of small businesses are suffering very much because of the way that the algorithms are following and people are sinking. So, support your favorite small businesses.
Yeah, that's the worst part about Facebook is they want you to pay them money for people who follow your page to be able to see their content. But if you're not making any money because nobody's seeing your content, how can you afford to put said money into Facebook? That's $1 billion industry company.
It's total crap, actually.
It's just hard. So we're actually working on something new that hopefully we'll have within the next week or so of another new way that you guys can help support us, but also make sure you don't miss out on any of our updates or anything like that.
Yes, this would be a solid way for you to make sure you don't miss anything. And that makes me really sad when people will say, like, oh, I don't see you guys in my newsfeed anymore. Or send me something like, did you guys see about this? And we put it out like the day before.
Exactly. Yeah.
Or even like, so Instagram is also hot garbage right now too. So just FYI.
Hot, stinky garbage.
It is. It's terrible. And a lot of people are complaining about Instagram.
It's all meta. So it all goes under the Mark Zuckerberg.
He can suck it.
Wow. So this podcast will get 0 reach on Facebook now. Once the Facebook algorithm picks up on Michelle saying Mark can suck it.
Oh, you just repeated it.
I'm just repeating what you said. That's just sharing the news.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
You said it. I was breaking the news.
All right.
But anyway, should we get started with our topics of discussion?
Probably so.
Okay, so first up, as always, Adventures in Florida Living, with a little bit of Michigan thrown in there because Michelle was talking a little bit about that. So come on.
Yeah, like we're half and half. So after we talked to you guys, 2 Mondays ago, that week we were really busy. We were in Michigan, but now mind you, while we're in Michigan, we're still working on our Disney news and Lost Princess apparel and everything else. I recorded my podcast from my parents' basement as well.
And 2 Fox segments while we were there.
I did 2 segments for Fox 35 from my parents' house. Mm-hmm. And I was actually on Channel 7 News in Detroit also.
You were? I forgot about that.
I was
Yeah.
busy.
So we were at the NFL draft, as Michelle said. And you guys may have seen pictures. She may have posted. I don't know what she put exactly on Facebook or.
If anybody's seen it on Facebook,
if you've seen it, but we were there for the NFL draft. It was first time it was ever in Detroit.
It was awesome.
They set the attendance record 700. I want to say 75,000 attendees over the 3 days of the draft.
Yep.
Which it was. There were so many people. I was like, I kind of even got a little bit of claustrophobia there at one point when we were standing there waiting for the first night.
Oh my gosh! I mean, people upon people. It was like, and they're kind of crowded. Like, so they had a big stage. I don't know if you guys saw, but and then they had like everybody waiting. That's where they did the draft and they did different things. But that crowd was even more crowded than waiting for fireworks at Disney. You were literally slammed between people. You couldn't move. Even there wasn't even enough room to turn around to say excuse me. You had to kind of stick your hands out and plow through the crowd to get out. It was awful.
Yeah, there was a few people who were trying to get past us who were going, "Oh, I have my family up there," and they're trying to get to them,
and they can't get to them.
Can't. There's just no way. Where Disney, you can at least get through the crowd. This, you could not get through. Wherever you were at, that was about as far as you were going to get, and no further.
Gee, I don't know why I got sick.
Yeah, I can't understand why. People all coughing on each other, and it was chilly. The first day. It started to warm up after that, but it was a little bit on the cooler side the first day of the draft, which was kind of nice because it gave us a break from the heat here in Florida.
Right. And, it's always nice to be able to go back home and visit. And this I was saying on my show last Thursday that it's almost like you get a what's the word? Like recharged?
Yeah.
I guess you could say.
And
we needed it because this year so far has been pretty stressful. And I know usually Scott is not the one who wants to go back home. It's usually me dragging him home. And he was more than ready this time.
Oh, yeah. I was ready to leave the day before we
you were.
left. It's been, like she said, it's been really stressful this year with a lot of things going on. And then again, like we talked about Facebook and not showing anything to anybody. And just it really takes a toll on one's brain and mind and sleep pattern because can't sleep when
you worry all the time. When you work for yourself, like you have to, rack your brain all the time trying to come up with ideas and ways to be seen and new content for people or Lost Princess, like new merchandise for people. And it has been very hard to be a small business owner, so we stress. So, yeah.
But we're still pushing forward.
We are.
We're not giving up yet.
So it was easy to get out of here and go to Detroit for the week.
It really was. And like Michelle said, when we leave, we actually still continue to work. We're still watching news, waiting for news to hit. Mm-hmm. We're still making sure everything's running the way it's supposed to be. Michelle's still sharing little memes and such like that on Facebook just to keep interaction.
We never get time off, even holidays or whatever, wherever we're at. But anyway, so Detroit was amazing. The vibe was so great in downtown Detroit. And it makes me mad sometimes that people are like, ooh, Detroit. But Detroit is not what it used to be.
It is not even close to what the stereotype stigma that Detroit has from the 80s is still sticking there now. And we both worked in Detroit before we moved to Florida.
We did.
And it had already started to change then. And now
it was getting there, but now it's a million times better.
It's so much different now. And just to see all those people down there having fun, and from what we kept hearing, there was no incident reports, no big police records of nothing of fights and violence and anything like that.
No, it was peaceful and happy, and people were supporting the local businesses down there. It was fantastic. And I think that's why we had such a good trip, because we went there to do something unique, something we were both excited for. I got to do a girls' night on Saturday with my friends. We got to see our nephews.
Got some Detroit food.
Because that's important.
And actually, I'm going to mention that because in Detroit, the big thing is Coney Islands. the restaurants where they serve the hot dogs with the chili, mustard, and onions on them.
It's a diner.
That's a diner, and that is a Detroit staple, is a Coney Island. And Lafayette Coney Island, which is one of the biggest named ones in the world, that's always on Food Network when they're talking about Detroit and such, they sold 10,000 Coney dogs in the 3 days of the draft.
That's a whole lot of dogs and chili.
That's a whole lot of dogs and chili, but good for them. I mean, it's good to see a business like that thrive.
That's a whole lot of indigestion.
Yeah, a lot of heartburn there following that. Chili's a little spicy, but it's still good.
All right.
But anyway, so like we said, but Michelle was on the Channel 7 ABC affiliate in Detroit when we were inside the store. The NFL had a little shop set up where they were selling the hats and the shirts and all that. And we're walking around in there, and the Channel ABC News came in there to film. And Michelle just happened to be walking by, and they grabbed her, and they filmed.
People were laughing at me. They're like, "Did these people just spot you everywhere?"
I know.
Like, no, it was. I thought it was very cool because, I think it's important to have little goals for yourself. And since we moved here, okay, might not be something that you even know. So since we moved here, I wanted to be like a quote unquote success story.
Okay.
And for us to somehow be on the news back home.
Okay.
Just kind of be like, like what we did and how we turned hobby into a business and doing this and that, but we still, are still in touch with our Detroit roots and all that. Now, granted, this was not anything like that. It was about the draft.
Right.
But I've always wanted to be able to have us some sort of representation.
And you never know what would happen. I mean, you're doing the work now for Fox here in Orlando, but if a story ever does go huge that you report, it could get picked up by the affiliates in Detroit, and who knows where it could lead to. I know sometimes when we're down here watching Fox on TV here, we have seen the people in the Fox in Detroit.
Yeah, like the health reporter. And
yes,
stuff
they've
like
been
that.
on the local here, so it's kind of cool. So I'm hoping one day we get to see that, or that your mom and dad call us and say, Michelle, you were on 6 o'clock news today. That'd be kind of cool.
That would be so cool. But anyway, we digress.
Anyway, so we're back in Florida.
We're in Florida.
And we had to be back by Wednesday because we had a media event on Wednesday.
We did. So if you followed us for a while, then you know that the nice people over at Cirque du Soleil have been really good to us. We did a live show from the stage, first people to ever do that 2 years ago. So we've been really supportive of their Drawn to Life show because they kind of included us from the very beginning. We were at the premiere, all of this.
We've seen the show a number of times.
We have seen
actually.
it a handful of times, which is really good. So they are launching new backstage tours, and they wanted us to come and do a preview of said tour. Do you want to talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, so the tour, so if you've never seen the show, do yourself a favor and go see the show. The show is fantastic.
Bring Kleenex.
Bring Kleenex. But when you're sitting there watching the show, you're like, oh my gosh, how do they do that? Or you see props and you're like, I'd like to see more about, I can kind of tell what that prop is, but you really don't know, or you don't know the story to some of the I guess the parts of the show. You don't know what the background story is to that section. So in the backstage tour that they take you on, it's a combo. So you get to see the show from really good seating. They showed us where the seats are for that. Plus you get a backstage tour of seeing behind the stage where the performers come out, where they rehearse, where their costumes are hung.
Underneath the stage.
Underneath the stage where the pieces that come up onto the stage start from. You get to, if you have seen the show, you know one of the big parts is Mary Blair's desk is brought up on stage at one point. And you get to go right up next to that desk underneath.
And the desk that gallops on stage.
Yes.
And like you get to see up close like some of the props that you might not see, or some of the little the details in the desks and stuff that you wouldn't see from the audience. You got to see up close. So this is something that they're rolling out at the end of the month, like 24th.
Yeah, I want to say it was around that last week of May is when it's going to start. But I think it's really great for anybody. If you've ever seen any Cirque du Soleil show anywhere in the world, they are phenomenal. But to be able to go backstage and see this kind of stuff, and they told us that they've done this in a couple other cities, a couple of the shows where they've done the backstage tour. But this one was just really cool to see some of this stuff. And I was fortunate enough to go on a backstage tour over a year ago and saw the beginning of it. But I saw stuff that they didn't even show on this tour. But I kept telling you throughout the thing, I'm like, oh, okay, look for there's the purse that the one lady comes out that actually looks like a big pink eraser, but you get to see it up close, and then you get to see like how that one desk, the galloping desk, what it's
Did you
constructed
know
of.
the villain purse lady follows us on the Instagrams?
Does she?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So
that's
does the
pretty
one
cool.
clown with the sign language.
That's cool. Yeah, so if you didn't know that, so there's one of the 4 clown animators who is part of the show, and the one who his hair actually
He's really good.
He's really good, but his hair is like a piece, and at one point it
Flies off.
flies off the back of his head. He's actually deaf,
Mm-hmm.
but he does a lot of this. I had learned this before, that a lot of the cast had learned sign language to be able to communicate
Mm-hmm.
with him. Which is just really, he's just phenomenal. He's fantastic. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he's so good in the show. He's really a great part. And then when you find that out, it's like, oh my gosh. So how does he get his cues and all that?
Yeah,
And
very talented.
very
so,
talented.
but-
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and we found out he's a fill-in for another part of the show that we never even really thought about.
Right. And, it's just really cool. So if you guys want to check out Drawn to Life at Disney Springs, you can go to their website and get information. The new tours start at the end of the month. And the tours you tack on to a admission price, and it's only Friday, Saturday.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I think, and only after the late show.
Yes, it's after the late show, obviously. But you know what was funny? I was talking to one of the people that work over at Cirque, and we got to see them practicing, which you never get to
Yes.
see.
No.
And I put a video on our Facebook page. Facebook, it's still there. You just got to find it.
And that is not part of the tour, what she's
No,
talking
no,
about.
no,
So
no, no.
Just to clarify.
Just to clarify. And they make, okay, so they're doing some crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they make it look easy.
Yes.
That is the part, like, so you're watching them practice and stuff, and in your head, like, you're totally delusional because you're like, I could do that.
No,
That
you
looks,
can.
but yeah, I can't. I mean, I would fall and break something. But that is the coolest thing about Cirque. They make it look seamless and easy, and it makes you like. When I was little, I always wanted to learn how to like fly on a trapeze. Like I
Okay.
can't even use monkey bars. My arms are weak. But maybe I could sit on a swing at Cirque.
Mm-hmm.
We all have to have like goals. That'd be my next one besides being on TV in Michigan. I want to sit on a swing.
That'd be a good goal. So we actually, and when they're rehearsing, they're all harnessed up and they're for safety
Yeah.
measures and such. But when they're doing the live performance,
There's no harness.
There's no harnesses. And I think it was you that asked them, do they ever, how, you asked them a
I
question.
did because okay, so like you said, during practice they have a harness, but when they're in front of a live audience, they don't have a harness.
Mm-mm.
And I'm like, well, is that like how do you handle that? Or and the only answer I got was, oh, a lot of these people, they're just such pros and whatever. But accidents happen. I'd be scared.
I would be too, especially some of the ones like we were watching. If you've seen the show, it's the end part where they're jumping from one platform to another on like a swing basically, and they jump from one to the other, doing flips or whatever in the air. And we're watching them do this, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're just flying out of the air.
Or the guys on those wheels in the back.
See, that's the one I would love to do.
I would hang on and cry. That's just too much.
I would just love to try it one time. Just to
Oh
be,
my God. I'd be terrified. I'd be like, don't move it. Don't move it.
I was gonna do it, but then you had to sign so much paperwork. It was like
Yeah.
it was more signing than buying a house.
So when you break your neck, you're not going to sue anybody
Yeah.
type of thing.
And then Michelle's like, if you're not going to be able to sue, or she said if she can't sue afterwards, then it's not worth us doing it. So didn't do that. But you know what? I give them props because these guys, what they do is absolutely amazing.
Right. So that was Wednesday. And then Thursday, I was supposed to be at a media event for the new island coming to Disney Cruise Line. But again, sick. So Scott did an amazing job going to cover this event. So tell everybody about the event.
Well, you're being too kind first. I did an okay job.
No,
I
you
tried.
did great. And you were, I really appreciated you doing that.
So
Awesome.
normally I don't cover events because Michelle has her way of doing stuff, and she's very. It has to be this way, and you want to make sure your pictures.
Oh,
look this
throw
way.
me under the bus.
I'm
we
just.
are.
But that's why your stuff looks so good. Is because you have a way you want to do it, and you just don't send any Tom, Dick, or Harry out there to cover your events like some people do.
No, because you have I'm too much of a control freak when it comes to the Main Street Mouse. But I also, and I've said this a million times, I really value that out of all the sites in all the world that we're on that list for Walt Disney World, and I don't want to screw it up.
Right, exactly.
And you did a good job, so you don't have to worry
Thank
about me. I didn't yell at you or anything.
Not yet. It's early. Who knows? But anyway, so so we did get a exclusive preview, I guess you could say, of some of the things coming to Lookout Key at Lighthouse Point. We had a panel discussion we sat through. They had Disney Entertainment represented there, Disney Imagineering represented there, the merchandise person who's handling all that, and also a person who worries about conservation on the island because they're trying to make sure they don't make too big of a footprint on this island.
Right.
As well as the person who's kind of the public affairs director for the Bahamas and the Caribbean, who works for Disney, but he's like the liaison between Disney and the governments down in the Bahamas.
Interesting.
So it's really a great panel, and they talked about a lot of the things coming to the island. They talked about I want to make sure I say this right, so I'm going to look up the word, but I believe it's Junkanoo. It is. And basically the best way they talked about this a lot, and we actually got to see a little bit of it at the end. They actually brought some of the performers in for Junkanoo. But what it is, it's basically the Caribbean's version of Mardi Gras. It's a big party, lots of music, lots of dancing. They make these costumes out of crepe paper and cardboard and such that they wear, and they're very elaborate. And so they're going to be able to do that on the island. They're going to allow you to go into an area and you can make your own headpiece to wear as part of their parade, walking around the island and doing that. The island just looks fantastic. They didn't talk a lot about the food. They said that they're still working out that all, and they should be releasing more information on that soon here.
But they did talk about one drink they're going to have on the island.
They did. Actually, there was two. I didn't see the other one until I was leaving. I didn't get to try it, but they did talk about the one, and I got to taste it. And I don't like alcohol. I don't drink. But I did sample this because I was working. I had to do research. And it was like a pineapple Dole Whip with coconut rum type drink, I think it was.
Yeah, it had some sort of special rum in it because I read the description, but then I was like, well, what's the difference that as far as that goes and like what they have at Animal Kingdom or like the boozy Dole Whips that they have other places. But it looked a little different. It looked more blended, almost like a daiquiri.
It was that. That's exactly how I would describe it. In the taste of it, it was very flavorful. There was none of that alcohol taste. And that's the part I don't like about alcohol, the taste that you get at the end of it.
See, I would have tried it. I probably would have asked for a second.
Probably could have got it. But that's when the performers came in and they walked through and they played some of the music they do. They talked about the costumes for the characters that'll be there. So Mickey, Goofy, Donald, Pluto, Chip, Dale, all of them, and their new costumes that are being created. They showed us some of the merchandise. Which I like the merchandise. You were kind of on the fence about the pictures of how you felt about what it looked like.
Some of it reminded me of Chinese New Year, and I just think that maybe it was the red and the yellow one. I know that was supposed to be Mickey Mouse.
Yes.
But I don't know. I wasn't like overly jazzed about it. I think the regular Disney Cruise Line merch or the one on Castaway Cay is better.
Okay.
But I mean, I'm a shopper. I mean, I'm not gonna like snub it necessarily.
Well, that's the one thing though about this. So the person who designed all the clothing for the characters as well as what's available to purchase is actually a Bahamian fashion designer. His name is Thomas Elliott, Elyett. And he's very big, I guess, in the Bahamas and area, and he's done a lot for the governments. He's done a lot for celebrities. So he was really excited. And this is the first time Disney's ever brought in an outside designer to come in and do something like this. So he was actually there at the panel we had, and they actually showed some of the clothes that his label is inside the clothing on the tag and such. So it's nice to see Disney reaching out of their people and going to somebody on the outside to see if that will appeal more. And being that he lives there, he knows kind of what the flavors of the islands are and such and what people like down there. So I think that's what he was trying to incorporate into the style.
Okay, sidebar, I have a question.
Okay.
All right, follow me, because this is like, I know what I'm trying to say.
Oh, boy, here we go.
Yeah. All right, so. I
need a drink for that one.
Okay, so Castaway Cay.
Yes.
Right. That's one of the ports of call.
Yes.
You get off the boat, you're at Castaway Cay.
Correct.
Right. However, why is it that the new one has two names? Like it's, Lighthouse Point.
That's the name of the island.
Right. But why give it two names?
Well, I think, because it is a truly people live on this island. Where Castaway is just basically for Disney's employees who live there, and that's it. But this island, I think they said it's 112 miles long. And there's actually cities and stuff like that on this island where the natives live. And actually, a lot of people probably don't realize this. Disney shares this island with Princess Cruise Line,
right? Because we saw some of the area when we were on our Princess Cruise in February.
Right.
So
I think the key, Lookout Key, is Disney's section of their beach that Disney.
So Lighthouse Point. It's not the name of the island, though.
No, it's not. But I think it's that section of the island is Lookout.
Am I overthinking this?
I think you really are. But so I just think they wanted to have a really fancy name for the whole thing.
Well, because when I write about it or talk about it, I get confused because there's two names and they both start with L.
So Lookout Key at Lighthouse Point. So the beach at Lighthouse Point, I guess is the way to say it.
All right, it's just confusing. They could have just given it one name.
But somebody did ask the question, so is there a lighthouse on the island? And you would think, of course there is. No, there isn't.
Okay, well that's dumb.
They gave some explanation. I can't honestly remember exactly.
Okay, but even just put a little tiny one,
They
just
could
to say
build
there's a lighthouse.
They could build one there.
I mean, just even like you go to the Home Depot and get one of those ones you put in the yard.
That would work too.
Sure, and it's a lot cheaper.
There probably would be.
But at least you can say you saw the lighthouse.
Now, one thing I will say about this island, though, so where the boat docks and where the island, where everything is, it seems like it's really far away. Where at Castaway, you can walk from the boat to the areas that
it's right
you know,
there.
it's
This
right
one
there.
you gotta like trek it across the island.
It looks like you're basically walking across the island, and I don't know. So on the Main Street Mouse, we do have pictures of the maps and such that they showed us,
Yeah.
and we got the first. This was the first debut of that. So when we saw it, that was the first time it was ever been shown outside of Disney employees seeing it, and I don't think it was drawn to scale because like the Serenity Bay, which is the adult section of the island, is really close to the normal side, and usually they're not that close. Usually they try to keep them far away. So I'm guessing the scale of the map isn't, but I'm sure they're going to have the tram just like they did on the other island
Oh yeah, probably.
to get you around.
But you mentioned that this is the same island as the one we saw on Princess.
Correct.
But when you pull up, for the Princess cruise,
you back it in.
it's right there.
Right. Yeah, it was, and that's where their section is right there. So we're on the other side, but it looks like you got to walk across it. And the conservationist person was talking about they didn't want to ruin anything. They didn't want to ruin any of the coral, so they built a bridge that goes over the coral of the water. They really tried to preserve the island and what's there. And they even talked a lot about the crabs that live on the island. I don't mean the crabby people who are yelling at you. I mean the actual animals, crabs that are living on the island. And he said they watched them to see their path that they would walk to the ocean and back and such.
Aww.
And in order to preserve them from them having to change the way they live, Disney made it workarounds so that anything Disney put there does not disrupt the crabs' lives.
See, I totally love that stuff because, like, when I see little creatures, I talk to them. I
Right.
mean,
Well, they say keep your eyes open because you will be able to see them on this island. That they are everywhere, I guess.
where were we when we were on a beach somewhere, and I saw a crab out the corner of my eye, and then by the time we got to it, he was gone.
It was when me and you, when Ronnie had his birthday party, and we stayed at a hotel near where the party was on the beach. Was that near Melbourne Beach? I can't
Melbourne
remember.
Beach.
In that area, because at nighttime they had the sea turtles come in to lay their eggs.
They did.
But during the day, we were sitting in the beach chairs, sitting there, and all of a sudden we saw a little crab come out of the sand, and then he ducked back under. And by the time you ran over there to see him, he was gone.
Yeah.
He disappeared.
Oh,
on
Ronnie's
you.
our friend, by the way.
Yeah.
You talk about Ronnie.
You know
like
Ronnie.
everybody knows.
Ronnie.
You know Ronnie.
Everybody knows Ronnie. Everybody really does know Ronnie.
Actually, he knows quite a few people.
Yes.
So, but yeah, I was really excited. So I get excited about little things. So when we had our fan cruise, which was a year ago, when we were on Castaway, we were looking for things, and
That's right, I forgot about that.
a lady had caught a starfish.
Yes.
And I posted pictures of this, and I was able to hold a starfish,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like the best part of the day. So I'm one of those people that I get excited about little things.
Right.
And like it made my whole day. And then it was like the starfish wrapped around my hand like he gave me a hug. It was the cutest thing ever. But it's little things like that you don't forget.
No, that's the memory you always have of that trip.
Right.
of
Now
being
I get
on
to
the
see
island.
crabs. I'm so excited.
Just be careful. You don't want to get.
I don't want him to pinch me
yeah, you
or
don't wanna
anything. I
pinch
won't
you.
touch him. I'll just say, hi, crabs.
Hello, crab.
Hello, crab.
So, and it's not Mr. Krabs.
Oh, SpongeBob, Mr. Krabs. Okay, that's a
That guy. So
yeah. We won't call him Mr. Krabs.
he probably doesn't like being called crabby.
Are you crabby today?
Are you crabby today? But that's really it. So if you want to read more about Lookout Key, go to the website, mainstreetmouse.com, and there's a couple articles, I think, in the last week or so that we put out that have more detailed information, but I'm sure Disney's going to be making a whole lot of announcements. And don't forget that beginning on June 6th through the 9th, Michelle and I will be on the Disney Magic on a trip to go see Lookout Key.
Yes, we get the media preview of the island. So I will remind everybody before that But yeah, we get to see that. So we're going to get video and photos and everything else. But you can, back to the previous, if you go to our Facebook page or our Instagram page, there's pictures of the merchandise that looks like Chinese New Year also.
Okay. It's a celebration.
It's, whatever.
It's just a big celebration. But yeah, so check all that out. As more information comes out, of course, we will have it on the Main Street Mouse. So follow along and go on the adventure with us when we're on the cruise.
I'm so excited.
Send you guys all the pictures from that ship. And you're just excited because that's the Tangled ship.
Okay, I wasn't even thinking about that right now. I just like to go on cruises. But yes, that's the one that has the Tangled
Restaurant
dining.
and show.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, you're going to be all in your glory. Last time we were on the ship was for Marvel Day at Sea, which just one day was Marvel. The rest of the ship it was a lot of Tangled, if I recall, on that ship.
Yeah, but the dumb part was they didn't have any Tangled merchandise. They had like one shirt.
One shirt, and then you bought the
plastic cup.
Plastic cup, and the Jody got you the Pascal.
Yeah, the little light up Pascal that
Yeah,
you
it was cute.
clip
But yeah,
on.
they didn't really have any merchandise for the whole thing.
Which is, I think, ridiculous. See, even when there's an actual dinner show, she still doesn't get merchandise. Oh, sidebar again, another one. Speaking of, so I showed you this the other day, but so the first pictures of the Tangled boat ride overseas
Oh yeah.
hit Twitter/X the other day, and it is beautiful. And so, yes, I'm Tangled, obsessed, but so was everybody else. And people, like, the general consensus was this was beautiful. I would cry if I saw it. Why don't we get it here in the States? Blah, blah, blah. So I think that there's something to be said for, they always get the good stuff overseas. I wish that we could get a little bit of that too. And that ride, like, I hate flying.
It's Tokyo, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tokyo Sea.
Yes.
All right, so I hate all of that. But that ride was so beautiful, I would consider
What?
taking a sedative and just going.
So we're going to start a GoFundMe to send Michelle to Tokyo Disney Sea. You can do it. Now, you know what? You're sitting here.
What?
And you're getting mad because you don't have it. They just repainted some of the areas of the Tangled bathroom.
Yeah, that's
So
what
you
we
have
get.
nothing to complain about when it comes to Tangled at Walt Disney World because they just refurbished some of the paint jobs on that
They
stuff.
repainted the flowers outside the bathroom. That is not even the same.
And it's one of the most popular areas in Walt Disney World.
Because everybody's got to go. And if you're going to go, like, it might as well be someplace pretty. But, okay. So the insides of the bathrooms have not been kept up lately. It's like trash in there. But at least it looks nice on the outside.
At least the outside looks good for photos.
Right. But yeah, they repainted the flowers outside of the ladies' room. And then they get a boat ride and everything else. And then Paris is getting something Tangled. Like I said, we get repainted flowers. I'm just saying, it doesn't seem right to me, but what do I know?
In the inside, you said it's not looking too good, but nobody will post pictures from the inside of a bathroom. So if you actually posted pictures, you can bet they'd clean that up quick.
Oh, yeah, the overflowing trash cans or just the nastiness that's in there. Why do you think I carry hand sanitizer? With
Oh, I
me all
know,
the
and
time?
you douse it on us all.
And
And anybody who's with us.
I'm sorry, it's nasty, and there's just too many germs. Ugh.
Okay, so next, we'll just wanted to mention that last week, Hollywood Studios on May 1st turned 35 years old. Doesn't look a day over 30.
Yeah. So, okay, so our friend Greg, who you do your podcast with,
Yes.
for the live podcast show on Tuesdays,
Which you're also a part of.
Oh yeah, I forgot I'm on that too. He wrote an article the other day. I'm going to group all this together, so just follow me.
I'm following you.
All right, follow.
I'm following.
All right, so he had put out something, an opinion piece, let's say, with a little bit of a, I don't want to say negative connotation. It was an observation. All right.
A real observation, though, not a Disney wants me to be nice and not share anything negative ever.
Yeah.
But he said how he really felt.
Okay, so we're gonna group two things together. We're gonna group in the studio's 35th last week and May the 4th because it was all in the same week.
Yes.
All right. So they know all these events are coming up, right?
Right.
And now back in the day, they used to do like a special, like little parade. They would do little fireworks, have all kinds of special activities so that you want to be in the park for those days.
For the full day.
Yeah. And now it's just some extra food items and some T-shirts. And that's all they really did for the 35th. They did like a 10-minute stage show.
Right.
And then for May the 4th, everybody wants to go to the studios, but there's really nothing new to see that day.
And that is so sad because we lost Star Wars weekends, which they
Yes.
could have brought back even for one weekend.
You know what? I don't even like Star Wars. I love Star Wars weekends.
It was so much fun. And the
Mhm.
501st, they used to bring them in for the parade, but they would also bring in some of the different celebrities who were in the movies to be in the cars, a Grand Marshal or whatever, in a car coming down the parade route.
Or I put a video on Instagram the other day that probably nobody saw of Galactic Nights.
Oh, yeah. I
Remember
forgot about
Galactic
that.
Nights?
Yes,
So
I
we got
do.
to do that. The video was from 2017,
Mhm.
and it was when they put Star Wars on the Tower of Terror for that event. And
Yes,
that's
I
the only
remember that.
time. So that video was very unique because they stopped doing them after that.
Right.
But they had like different Star Wars things up on a tower.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had like, so here's an easy one. So Star Wars fireworks, they did that every night.
Every night.
And why couldn't they actually I think it should be back. But
Yeah, why hasn't that one come back?
they have that movie one.
But that was always there also. That was always like a little 10-minute thing they did, but what was it, Galactic? I can't remember what the name of the fireworks show was. Galactic Galactic, I don't know.
Oh, I don't even know, but it was
But it
cool.
was on the Chinese
theater.
and the show was phenomenal. I mean, it was absolutely fantastic to sit there and you'd see those bursts of flames when you heard Vader or Kylo, or you'd see the big 70-foot Darth Vader. You'd hear the breathing.
Yeah, it was cool.
And then you'd see him marching up on there.
Or at the end, they had the light in the sky, it looked like the big
It did.
lightsaber.
Yeah, somebody's hand would go up and they'd light
Yeah.
the saber and it would go up off the, and then there'd be the beam that would shoot straight up into the sky.
Yeah. See, but see stuff like that. Like, why can't they bring that back? Or at least they could have done it for the week or
Right.
the weekend.
Right.
For Star Wars, but they didn't do that.
No.
And
you would have packed that, even more so, you would have had more people in that park.
for sure.
If you said, we're going to do this for one night only, May the 4th, we're going to bring back the fireworks show and do it for one night, they would have had that park packed to the max for people to see the show because it's one of the greatest shows that they ever did.
Right.
And if you're a Star Wars fan, it takes you all the way back to 1977 Star Wars as well as all the new Star Wars.
Yep.
So, and they
It's
could have
pretty
added,
impressive.
They could have added Mando, they could have added Grogu, they could have done all this stuff to that show.
Yeah, get on that, Disney.
Yeah, I just don't know why that show's not back. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
I don't know. I just think that they're missing the mark there. And then they could have done it 2 nights for Revenge of the Sith too.
Revenge of the Fifth, yeah.
Yeah, I don't Revenge of the Fifth. Sorry, I'm thinking the movie.
No, it's okay.
But for me, I prefer Cinco de Mayo anyway. That's the holiday I choose.
I understand that. So you like May the 4th and then Cinco de Mayo. Forget Revenge of the 5th.
Forget that part because I'd rather have margaritas and chips than deal with more
Understandable.
Star Wars.
Understandable. But I do think that Disney is missing the mark on not having the Star Wars Galactic Spectacular
Or-
fireworks back.
Okay, so there was a media event because I was looking at my Facebook memories to the big 30th anniversary celebration of the studios.
Oh, I remember that.
And
it was really hot that day.
It was really hot, and they had stuff going everywhere. Special characters, special parade.
Mm-hmm.
I got to stay for an extra special dinner type of thing, and it was sweltering that day. But they had all kinds of stuff going on. And then for the 35th, here's a cupcake and a T-shirt. Like, come on.
Yeah, they phoned it in,
on.
and I don't know why that is. And especially now that Galaxy's Edge is open, which it wasn't open during the 30th.
Just seems like missed opportunities to me. But again, like as us Italians say, but what do I know? So
Well, it just
wrong.
seems like Disney's doing the bare minimum for things anymore.
But everything's more expensive. So
It's more
explain that.
expensive. So they're making more money hand over fist.
But we get less.
But we get less, but people are still spending the money. And that's what I've always said. As long as people are willing to spend the money for what they're pushing, why would they do extra?
Right. There's no
They're-
recourse there.
They're a business. They're a business who wants to make profit. And they at the end of the day, as long as people are still spending money, they could care less what we miss.
Sure. And it's you know what, you could use the analogy about how like when it comes to kids or when it came to our kids, I'm like, we don't reward bad behavior.
Correct.
Like if you're acting out and you want something and you're blowing a fit, you're definitely not getting it now.
Right.
So they're rewarding bad behavior. People
much.
like, we don't like what you're doing, Disney, blah, 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 but we're still going to give you money.
Yep.
You know,
Exactly.
does that make sense?
And especially now with the economy so bad and nobody has extra money, that people are just spending a hand over fist.
I don't get it. I don't get
I
it.
don't understand it. And then I mean, what did we see when we were last time we went to Magic Kingdom? It was $179 for that day, just
Oh
for
my
Magic Kingdom,
God.
and that wasn't including Park Hopper. Park Hopper took it to $229. I want to say.
Plus, if you
$225.
buy that god awful Genie
You
Plus.
buy Genie Plus, but if you just buy food,
Yeah, I know.
I mean, if you go there with a family of 4, you're looking at $800 just to get in, and then if you buy food, you're looking at $100 for each meal
Oh my
that you
God.
do, and then a snack. You get a pretzel, you get
Souvenirs.
a churro, souvenir. I mean, it's a $1,200 day for one
At
day.
least.
And it's like, come on, Disney. People are spending this much money. People don't have it. But the fact that people are saving up to spend
Mm-hmm.
their money, they're saying, you know what? I've saved up this amount of money. I'm going to go to Disney with my family.
Right.
Give them something that's worth their while.
Oh, very, very well said, Atwood. Very well
Thank you.
said.
Thank you.
I'm applauding.
I appreciate that.
Sure. A good point.
So another thing I wanted to mention before we get off of Disney news, May the 4th, we did put a blog out about it. Home Depot had the coolest animatronic I've ever seen in my life for $299, which actually may seem a lot if you're not a Star Wars fan, but really it's pretty cheap because Sideshow Collectibles has a replica similar to this of a Darth Vader, 7 foot tall Darth Vader animatronic. Theirs is $9,000.
Oof.
This one was $300. Sold out instantly, but it's actually good enough for Halloween and Christmas. It comes with
accessories.
it comes with accessories. So for Halloween, it has a standard red lightsaber, but he's holding what you find out is a pumpkin that's carved to look like the Death Star. And then you can remove the lightsaber and the pumpkin and replace them with a candy cane lightsaber
Uh-huh.
and
An ornament.
an ornament of, I think it was the Death Star also, wasn't it?
I can't even tell.
I can't remember offhand now. But
But you could use it for all
you can
seasons.
use it for multiple seasons. So last year, the big one was the Jack Skellington animatronic, which person in our neighborhood has. It's awesome. It's like 12 foot tall.
It
It
talks.
sings. We used to slow down, roll down the windows just to listen to it as we
Yeah,
drove
because
by.
it was motion censored.
Right.
So, like, we would slow down in front of it and see it. And it was the coolest thing. Now, mind you, like, how many times did we see it and it was still equally as cool?
Yes.
Because you can put it out for Halloween and then put the hat on it for Christmas time.
You could make it your own Christmas thing, put the beard on it if you wanted to.
Well, I mean,
whatever.
if they do it for Vader, why not?
They should. But the Vader, I think, would be cool because I would probably have that set up here in my office 365 days.
Oh my gosh, like there's room in here.
It would be in the corner, standing there. What's the best part, though, is I'd have it, like, motion censored
Oh no.
in the living room. Somebody breaks in your house, and all of a sudden you see the lightsaber. I think that would be hilarious because you would see criminals peeing themselves and running out the front door.
Or if I had to go downstairs at night for some reason, it would scare the hell out of me. Like when you had that freaking Hatbox Ghost in the dining room.
Oh, that was the best.
Or-
So years ago, my 3D printer, I was going to print a full-size Hatbox Ghost, so I printed the head, and I
And
still
glow
have
in the
it.
dark stuff.
And glow in the dark. And Michelle walked in there, and the head was glowing, sitting on a. I think I had it set up on a chair to where it was kind of almost the right height.
Oh
and
no,
everything.
you did it worse. You had it in the corner of the dining room.
Right. I built the body out of PVC pipe of what I
Yeah.
was going to use. And it was
So
sitting
when
on
you
top of
got
that.
up at night, that thing was looking at you, and I had forgot the one night. I'm going to the bathroom, and I see a glowing, scary face. Yeah, that was fun.
Hilarious.
It's not hilarious.
I have to put that thing back together.
No, you're not, because it's you. The head is sitting over here in our office.
It's in the tote behind you. with all my
Okay,
other
because
3D stuff.
I saw it and I was like, I hate that thing because it scared me. See, we don't have a good relationship anymore. Me and that Hatbox Ghost because he scared me.
That's why he's in the box. And he's
That's
not-
right.
That's too funny. But anyway, that was our Disney news for the week. Or I'm sorry, that was
No.
that was Adventures in Florida Living news. We haven't done Disney, have we? No, we haven't done Disney news yet. That was Florida Living news, all that stuff. Because everything we've done over the last week, any news that came out over the last week. But now we got to talk about the new news that hit all today.
Okay, it's kind of this is like Florida Living and Disney News is kind of a combo
It is
platter
a
right now
combo.
because there was just a lot to talk about.
Today there was a ton of Disney news that dropped. So if anybody's paying attention, first thing this morning, or yesterday actually, they talked about halfway to Halloween is here.
Yeah, they warned us yesterday that it was coming, so I think everybody was this morning waiting for the Halloween news.
And we had, 4 blogs hit like almost immediately when we woke up this morning that had to get out.
Yes.
So it was crazy. So the first one that came out talked about 5 things that are coming to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party.
Yes.
So the 5 new things, did you want to cover them? Do you know what they are offhand? Or you want me to do it?
You're looking at it. I'm not.
I'm looking at my notes.
See, that's cheating.
Well, I'm allowed to look at my notes.
I know, but you put me on the spot, and I don't have the notes in front of me.
Okay, I'll do this one. Fine,
You
I'll
do it.
this
You do
one.
it. You do it.
You got merchandise in. So, some of the 5 things coming to the party are new costumes for Mickey and Minnie,
Oh yeah, I knew that.
which are coming. There's going to be more villain sightings around the park.
So they're just adding more villains.
More villains around the park. There's going to be the Descendants party because the new Descendants movie is coming out this year.
Right.
So they're going to have the Descendants party.
Which they had at Disney Springs a couple years ago.
They
You remember
did.
that?
Yes, they did. Bruno is going to be a part of the festivities, even though we're not supposed to talk
We're
about
not supposed
him.
to talk about
But
it.
I've heard Maribel at 1900 Park Fair said it's okay to talk about Bruno now.
Oh, that's true. She did say that, didn't she?
So you can talk about him. And then the Mickey's Boo to You Parade is actually going to have an earlier start time for, I think, the first showing of it. Because I think it was just too late sometimes for little ones to be up that late to see it.
But see, okay, here's my opinion, because I have opinion for everything.
Of course you do.
To me, all right. So the party starts at 7. The first parade was like at 8:15 or something.
Was
like
it that early?
It was.
It was 9.
No, because the second one, well, maybe it was 9. It
Next
was, or it was
one's at
8:30, 8:45. I don't know. But I felt like when you get there and the party's starting and you start walking around and you're doing trick or treating and whatever else, I feel rushed. That
Right.
first hour and a half of the party, I feel very rushed because you can watch that Hocus Pocus show, and then the parade, and then after you watch that first parade, then there's fireworks, and I feel like it sucks up a lot of time those first couple of hours, and then you're like, oh my gosh, it's almost over.
Yeah, that's the one thing I find about the Halloween parties. It feels so rushed the entire time because there's so much going on, and you want to get to see everything.
You want to see the show, you want to see the fireworks, and plus, like, if you have kids or a big kid like you wants to do the trick or treating.
I want to do trick or treating. I want to get some of my money back in candy. What it costs. me.
That's why he brings a backpack.
I bring a backpack. I bring Ziploc. I bring everything I need to get everything I can get. Oh, Ziploc's at the Christmas one, but anyway. I
the
digress on
cookies
that.
at Christmas time.
But no, the Halloween one, it is. From the minute you walk in there, you're rushed. If you want to wait for a character, Jack and
Oh,
Sally could be
forget
an hour.
that.
The Seven Dwarfs could be an hour. And when you only have a party that's 5 hours long, 'cause
You
that's
gotta
all
pick and choose.
you really do. And we've been to multiple parties in the same year, and we still didn't cover everything because it's just hard to do everything, especially when we're there for media, because media has us running from one area to another.
Because we have to cover it all.
We have to cover it all. And a lot of times we have to split up. Okay, I got this, you go do this. Do you remember a couple years ago when they had the Pirates overlay, they brought live action
I
people
do,
into the
yes.
ride? That was fantastic, but it was another part of that we had to cover on top of everything else we had to cover for that night. So it was a lot of work to cover the whole thing. And I'm not saying this to say, oh, poor you guys, you have to cover the Halloween party. But on a night like that, it is a lot of work because it's still hot. It's August here
Oh
in
my
Florida,
God,
which
it's
is hot.
terrible.
We've done it wearing costumes, and that was probably a mistake. 'cause
Yeah,
we
I
were
would say
warm.
that's a mistake.
But we find ourselves running from one side of the park to the other.
Yeah.
You got to see the overlay in Space Mountain. You got to see if they did something in Pirates this year. Or the Haunted Mansion always has stuff outside the mansion.
Yes.
That you want to rush over there to get that. I know they changed that up last year, but we never know what's going to happen year to year, like what's new. Then you got all the new photo pass options that are going to be around the park, the different.
Yeah,
things
it's
to
just it's just a lot. I wonder if they do that kind of stuff on purpose so you have to go to more than one party.
It could be.
And
I mean,
it's
honestly,
not cheap.
It's not.
It's not cheap.
Christmas always sells out, but Halloween there's usually tickets available for some of the parties.
Yeah, but Christmas is even more expensive if I remember correctly.
And Christmas doesn't have as much as the Halloween party does.
No, but I don't know. I like them both.
Mm-hmm.
There's something special about both, but I love Halloween, but I really love Christmas too. It's hard.
It is. It's a.
And I want to do everything because
Yeah.
like I just do. And I miss it when it used to be remotely affordable. That was like our family outing to take the kids to Mickey's Very Merry. And the past couple of years, we just went and took the kids for the evening and had dinner somewhere because it's just too expensive for 4 of us to go to the Christmas party.
And we do it because we have to for our job. That's what we have to do. We have to cover it for that. So the last 2 years, I think we paid to go to one to cover it, and Disney had us at one to cover it, and we still had to do both to cover everything to get the parade. And then if you have rain, and now you know you're
My
going back
gosh,
another night.
yeah, the rain, that's another thing. But yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot to do. So it's like we do appreciate you guys watching and sharing all that information once it comes out because it's a lot to get it all for you guys.
And it's stressful and it's exhausting and you really don't have quote unquote fun
No,
because it's work.
it is.
But
You stress out about it.
oh my gosh, I get so stressed.
And there's so many people there, and if she can't connect to do a live feed, oh.
Oh, really? Oh, throw me under the bus again.
No, it's just because you've always been, I want to share what I'm seeing with the followers.
I've always been that way.
When you went to Toy Story Land for the first time, you didn't see it until everybody saw it. You walked in there with your camera on live feed, so you guys
we
are
could
gonna
all
see
it together.
And you're like that when you see the parade. Even though the parade, for the most part, is the same parade every year,
It's the same parade, but still.
you still want to have your camera rolling and live feeding it on Facebook so everybody sees what you're seeing. And people love it, and they tell you that. They're like, oh my gosh, thank you for sharing. Or I'm not going to make it down this year. Thank you for showing this.
It just means a lot to me to be able to share those things with people because I know when we lived up in Michigan, we would miss so much.
Right.
And it kind of just brings a little magic to people's living rooms. And like, for example, like, I really wish I could go to the first Not So Scary. What am I missing? Blah, blah, blah. Well, if you watch my stuff, then you know what you don't have to really miss out on anything because I'm doing it for you. I mean, granted, it's not the same as being there, but it's the next best thing.
And the other thing that's hard to do is taste all the food that they have at Mickey's.
We never do.
We never do, but they always have so many new food options.
Or if there's a media event before the party, like
Yes.
last year, it was at the Contemporary, and they had some of the food options we got to try, and then we didn't have to go buy it in the park.
Right. But then we still got to the park, and we're like, okay, we got to do this. And then we got hungry walking around. And we don't really get to trick or
hot
treat
that
when we're there
night.
for that night.
No.
No, so, which I get bummed about. I'm like, I want my candy.
Do you remember how hot it was that week?
Oh, do you remember the year we dressed as Flynn and Rapunzel and how hot it was?
Yes, I do.
Oh my God. that
But
was
last year we
great.
just had I had a Halloween dress that I bought on Amazon, and you had one of your
That's
shirts
right.
on.
Yeah.
And we were hitting a very hot streak that week, and the humidity, the heat index was still like 100 at nighttime.
Right.
That was awful.
And we're backpacks with tripods and batteries and everything else we need when we're out there, just to make sure we have everything covered. And it's
Okay, we sound like big whiners.
It's
but
just it's a lot to cover it all. But we'll be there this year because obviously this year they've announced there is new stuff. In past years, it's been like, okay, here's this one thing or here's this thing. But
and
this
it
year
starts
seems like a
early,
lot.
still at the 9th. August
yes,
9th?
the 9th, I believe. Does. And my favorite part of the whole party is seeing that Jack Skellington come out on stage.
Oh, he's pretty cool.
The puppet, which we did get to see at Jollywood Nights last year. As
Same
part of that
puppet,
show.
yeah.
But that puppet is just so cool to see him walk out on stage. And
He's very cool, and I personally love the Headless Horseman too.
that's a great one too. And that's one that you don't know if he's going to run or not, because if it's raining or whatever,
or if
head
it's
rain,
slippery, or you don't know what the conditions are that maybe that they can't do it.
Right.
But when they do, it's so exciting,
And
and
we've
he
been
goes
at-
by so fast.
He does. And we've been at parties where we thought maybe he would run and he ended up
And he
not
didn't.
running because it did sprinkle or whatever just an hour before that, and they can't take the chance.
No,
Which
they got it's safety for the rider and for the
And the
horse.
horse. Yeah. So they got to do what they got to do. But that is a great part. I like the Grave Diggers and the whole Haunted Mansion scene in the parade.
Well, we're big Haunted Mansion fans,
We
so
are.
there's that.
We are.
Speaking of Haunted Mansion,
Yes.
there's new merchandise coming out, and a lot of it is mansion themed, correct?
I believe so. Yes, you're right. Let me pull up my picture here. But I know you went through you looked at all the stuff already, didn't
Yeah,
you?
most of it was Haunted Mansion themed.
Yeah, so I'm looking through it now. So they have the pumpkins, which I'm guessing those are decor pumpkins. Remember last year
Yeah.
they had that one. I see Oogie Boogie stuff. That's for out in California. A lot of this says Disneyland. Haunted Mansion shirt that has the Haunted Mansion from out there, but it's with the overlay. Jack Skellington is actually on the shirt.
Oh, see,
Same
that's
top.
cool because I love that overlay.
And it's a long sleeve shirt, which you like those. New button down shirts. I'm trying to go through these T-shirts, of course.
Spirit jersey, bags,
Spirit jersey.
ears, I'm sure.
Haunted Mansion. So I'm looking right now. I see a men's button-up shirt, which looks like it's a lot of stuff from Leota's room, that's floating around the seance room. Then I see the wallpaper on a woman's button-down shirt. Looks like a sweatshirt with the, I guess you could say, the print from the Haunted Mansion wallpaper, and then a woman's looks like a zip-up, maybe fleece jacket, also with all the Haunted Mansion stuff on
You
it.
totally need fleece.
And then
There you
they're
go.
they're getting into the sling bags, like Lost Princess Apparel does,
Lost Princess Apparel has them, but cheaper.
and a new backpack that has stuff on it. I'm trying to scroll through here. A new stuffed plush of Mickey skeleton with a bow tie.
Oh, yeah, they always have the new plush.
Yeah. Of course, there's a Pandora bead with Jack Skellington on it, and then also a bracelet which has other options. It has a Mickey pumpkin. It has Mickey and Minnie in their Halloween costumes, the Jack, and then Jack and Sally also on there. New Loungefly, go figure. It's like a cupcake. There's always a cupcake on Loungefly everywhere you go.
You know, I haven't seen it yet, but I hope they have Hocus Pocus stuff again, because the stuff they had last year was god awful.
And I haven't seen any Hocus Pocus, but I just glanced through. I didn't really look.
No, I didn't see it yet either, but sometimes they do, more than one merchandise rollout. Yeah, for last year, for the 30th anniversary of Hocus Pocus, the merchandise was super depressing.
It was. So this Loungefly and wallet is the Evil Queen from Snow White. There's also a Funko Pop going to be for the villains, which I think they did that last year. They had like 6 Funko Pops. They're a little bit larger of a pop. And this one has the Evil Queen on a throne. But if it's anything like last year, there'll be like 4 or 5 different villains that'll have a special pop, which there's a Lego set that's going to have villains in it, which I kind of like that. New Villainous game is coming out. Villains Uno.
Villains, obviously, is the theme.
Cruella de Vil doll. That'll be out. Pumpkin King varsity jacket.
See, I thought that was super cool.
I think that's really cool, too, and I think I may have to get that. Jack Funko Pop, Sally Funko Pop. Looks like they're at the beach. There is a special ring. Where's this at? Because it looks like it's a black heart ring. And it's got to be Nightmare Before. Yeah, it's Nightmare Before Christmas ring. There's a cookbook. There's another book coming out about that. So that's all they're showing. So no Hocus Pocus at all in this ad that came out today, or this blog that came out today. So who knows if we will get to see any Hocus Pocus this year. Maybe they're going to take a break.
Well, they have this Villain Spelltacular still happening, so you figure they would have something.
Why don't they ever do anything for the Headless Horseman, though?
I don't know.
And you would think this year they could also do something for the Hatbox Ghost and all that Haunted Mansion stuff. There's nothing with the Hatbox Ghost on.
Yes, they. You know what? We need to be in merchandising. We could turn this stuff, turn it around.
They just don't think about stuff like that. And as a fan, I mean, because remember last year, me, you, and Greg waited all day long when we thought that the Hatbox Ghost was going to debut.
Yes, we did.
Before the first party. We sat at Magic Kingdom for like 8 hours at Columbia Harbor House and outside right there, just waiting. And the ride was down the whole day.
Oh my gosh, that was terrible.
But it did eventually open, but it was after the party. So kind of.
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer.
But anyway, so that's all the Halloween merchandise that's coming. Another thing I wanted to mention is that Disney on the High Seas is returning.
Halloween on the High Seas.
Disney Halloween on the High Seas is returning with all new costumes for the characters on that ship on the ships as well.
Right.
And then the other blog that hit today, which I thought was really kind of cool, is the Haunted Mansion parlor that's going to be on the Disney Treasure. They gave us a sneak peek.
Yes.
Of what's going to look like.
Yeah, and it's the artist renderings, and they're gonna have like the ghosties and the behind the bar, and it's supposed to have different artifacts from the mansion, is what the whole theming is. But that lounge is the same as Hyperspace Lounge on the Wish, which is small.
So small, and that's what's sad about it. It's like, come on, make it bigger.
I know, because it's but. I don't know. Maybe you got to just kind of ignore us because we have high expectations because we do love the Haunted Mansion so much. But I think it will still be cool.
I think it'll be cool. Disney cruises are so packed already.
Yeah.
Hyperspace Lounge, on the media cruise at least, it was hard to get it in there.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It was so packed. And then the first time we were on it, which was a year ago now, for our fan cruise, it was still packed. We did get in eventually, but it was still pretty busy the whole time. And you get in there to get drinks you can buy at any of the bars for pretty much, but I'm excited to see what this one looks like. I hope that they maybe learned spacing. Maybe they made it a little bit larger. I don't know if they could. It just depends where they were when they realized.
Well, hopefully we get to see it.
I'm hoping so. I mean, we're getting a lot of information about the treasure, so I would assume we'll get invited.
So
but
fingers and toes crossed.
Yeah, fingers and toes are definitely crossed for that.
So before we wrap things up, because we are getting close to our time.
Yes.
So in other news. The Universal Orlando last week sent out information or put out information regarding another land coming to Epic Universe. And this one was Super Nintendo World.
Which they already have in Hollywood.
They do.
So we're finally getting it here now with Epic.
Yes. And it seems like with everything they come out with, it's more and more exciting. And so the last two they have to debut is the Monsters and the Harry Potter, right? Or is there 3?
I thought there was 3. Maybe there is only 2.
I don't know. How many coins do we have left in our...
Oh, you know what? You're right. It is. It's Monsters, Universal Monsters and Harry
Harry
Potter.
Potter.
Land. So yeah, we have 2 more coins. If you've watched, they sent us the Chronos, they call it, which is kind of the icon of Epic Universe, and they're sending us a coin every few weeks to go in the Chronos of the lands that'll be there.
So like last week they put out that Thursday was the date that they were going to talk about it, but we got a coin in the mail on Wednesday.
Right.
So they don't tell you what land it is ahead of time publicly, but then if you're on like the media list, you get to see what what it's going to be the day before.
Right. Now, I read about this land. I'm not even a huge Super Mario fan.
Right.
I had Sega. I didn't have Nintendo growing up like
Boo.
some people.
Hey, I loved Mario.
I know you did, but I did not have it. But there's a lot of fun stuff, and it's going to look like you're going to enter the world of Nintendo when you go in. You go through the green pipe into the world.
Yeah, I saw
That's
that.
how you enter, and then like Mario Kart is going to be there, Yoshi's Adventures, Toadstool Cafe. I even read that there's something about there's a bracelet or something you can buy that helps you in the land achieve more points because it is a video games
Oh my
land.
God, the kids are going to love that.
So they're gonna love that, and there's a lot to do. So like when Disney opens up a land, you get 2 to 3 rides and like 7 restaurants, usually, and
Wow.
12 stores. But when Universal's doing
And
it,
a
looks like,
cupcake.
and a cupcake, it looks like Universal's opening it up with a lot to do.
It is going to be such a big deal when this park opens.
I can't wait.
It is just like instead of just getting a land or a new ride, you're getting a whole park and new hotels.
Yes.
I think that this area needs that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as a local, it needs that. Not if you're a vacationer, because if you are coming into vacation, there's plenty of things that you don't get to see all the time. But as a local, it's exciting because it's something new for us to do.
It is, and I can't remember the last time. I don't know if it was probably Animal Kingdom was the last new park that was opened in this area. Really, SeaWorld was already there. Universal had the 2 had Islands of Adventure and their main park. I don't count water parks.
Islands opened in 2000, I want to say.
Oh, was it? Okay, so it's been 25. It'll be 25 years by the time Epic opens. Then since there's been a park opening, so the world has changed since then. Though social media wasn't anything back then. So it's gonna be curious to see how they cover something like this.
Yeah, I'll be really interested to see, and time goes by so fast. It's going to be open before we know it.
All I know is they sent us that Chronos. They keep sending us the coins. It has me very hopeful that we will be there for the media event for
God, I
Epic
hope
Universe.
so. I hope so.
So I think it'll be great. But yeah, so if you want to learn more about Super Nintendo World coming to Epic Universe, we do have a blog on the site that you can go read all the details. It just came out. What day was that? On the 2nd it came out. So
And also the new DreamWorks land at Universal Orlando opens in June as well.
that's right, June
14th.
14th.
Yep.
And that looks really cool because if you're walking in the area, they do have walls up, but you can kind of see like Shrek's home over the wall, and it looks like it's gonna be pretty fun back there. So it's over there by ET, SpongeBob store, and
Which
stuff.
isn't going to go anymore.
No, it doesn't match at all of that area. So we'll see. Maybe ET might go bye
There's been rumors about that.
Go home.
Maybe ET's finally going home.
Maybe it could be.
I don't know.
Another thing I want to mention, though, in other attraction news is today, SeaWorld, smart to put it out today, announced that they put their Hollow Scream tickets on a super great big sale today.
Really?
And I think it was $35 a person
That's
or
so
something like
cheap.
that, or 34. I can't remember the exact total, but it was really cheap. Hollow Scream is above Mickey's Not So Scary as far as scare factor.
Scare, yes.
But I would not say it's up there with Universal's Halloween Horror Nights, even close.
Speaking of Horror Nights, I wonder if there's going to be announcements coming soon for Horror Nights, or do they wait till it gets closer?
They usually wait till it gets closer, but with Disney getting the news out there, you might see them maybe drop a house or two to start letting us know what's coming, because I think they're going to have 10 of them. They're going to need time to announce them. I can't do them one after the other.
You know what I find very strange?
What's that?
For years I've protested Horror Nights because I am scared. I'm still terrified.
Yeah.
It was one of those things I wanted to get into but couldn't.
You're that way with spicy food, too.
I just keep trying until I actually like it. And spinach dip.
Yes.
So Horror Nights is like my new spicy food.
Yes.
Like I went twice last year.
You did.
And I actually had a good time.
I think you did 4, maybe 5 of the houses last year total.
And I was so
between the 2
proud of
nights.
myself.
Yeah, you did great last year.
So I'm actually looking forward to Halloween at Universal.
Mm-hmm.
will I go in the houses? I don't know about that.
You're going some of them.
But see, I can see now that I know you can walk on the sidewalks in the scare zone. They can't get you. That's a game changer for
But
me.
you knew that after the first one, and you still walked in the streets when we went the second time.
I was a
Because
little
the
bit.
girls kind of forced you
If
to.
you get dragged by your arms into the street, what choice do you have, really?
You get cut by a chainsaw. They come running at you.
No, but yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to Halloween at Universal. I
I
don't know
love
what's
it.
happening to me.
I know. I almost want the frequent fear pass they offered, where you can go multiple times.
See,
for
that's
one
one thing
price.
that's different about Halloween at Disney versus Halloween at Universal. Like usually, Not So Scary is a one and done,
Right.
but Universal is their Halloween event is more of a locals event, and you got people that buy the frequent fear pass, and they go a couple of times a week.
Okay.
Now, I personally feel like I wouldn't want to go every week because I get tired of it.
Right.
But to go more than once is cool.
Well, I think a lot of the reason for the frequent fear pass also is you want to be able to do all the houses, and it's hard to do all the houses
'Cause
in
it's so busy.
one night or 2 nights because we went twice last year, and I want to say we did either 4 or 5 of the houses total.
Mm-hmm.
We could have maybe got 1 or 2 more in there had we waited for them, but even the first time we went, because we went on a media invite, we had the express pass, and we still only did I think 2 or 3 houses that night.
See, now, if I were brave, we could have done more houses, but I gotta ease into it. I just, it's hard for me. I'm trying though.
It was funny because we saw Tim before we went to any of the houses that night, and you asked me to go because he had been there the night before. You're like, Tim, what's the scariest one, or what's the one I can get through the best? And he told you like the Yeti one, and where we going to Chucky.
Oh yeah, and the Chucky one was kind of stupid.
Well, the Chucky one though, you thought we're walking through the Chucky house and and it's inside the Fast and the Furious daytime attraction.
Right.
They put it inside there, and we're walking, and Michelle's like got the people behind us. I'm in front, and then Michelle, and then she's got people behind us and she told them, they're like, if you need to stay close, go ahead. I don't mind. Kind of block her in, and she thought we were all done, and we're going out, and it looked like we were going outside, and no, we were just going into another side of the building where
I was kind of
most
like, oh, that wasn't so bad. I'm like, wait, it's not over.
it's not over, and then you got scared all over again because that side was scarier than the first side.
It's just jump scares.
It
I don't like jump scares.
No, they're bad, but it's fun, and you just got to remember it's just a fun time.
I understand it's fake and all that, but still, I don't like to be scared. I don't like jump scared. I can watch a scary movie, but if someone's in my face, I don't like that.
Really, you can watch a scary movie. You sit there with a blanket over your face.
But I can still watch it.
It's like
through
you
the
do when you
holes of
play
the
football. When you watch
blanket.
football, you're like, no, cover. I don't want to see us lose.
Really, you just it's this episode is throw Michelle under the bus.
It's not throw you under the bus. Just teasing with you. It's cute. It's
Okay.
fun. Okay, so I have a question for you this week then.
Oh, I forgot.
In our Get to Know Michelle series.
Oh my God. Why are we having a get to know me series?
'Cause nobody
Lord.
cares about getting to know me. They want to know
Oh,
you.
Shut up. What's the question?
Here's the question. So last year, or 2 years ago, I should say now, D23, we were out there and got to cover Oogie Boogie Bash while we were out there.
We did.
So you've been to Mickey's Not So Scary here.
Yeah.
You've been to Oogie Boogie Bash in Disneyland.
Yeah.
Which one do you prefer
Ooh.
and why?
Oh, that's not fair. Oh my gosh, that's not fair. Because I like them both for different reasons.
Tell the reasons.
As you sit there drinking your Mountain Dew with a smirk on your face, tell the reasons.
Tell the reasons.
I like their parade is fun. We watched it. Now, mind you, this is at California Adventure, so we watched it where we could get good pictures because the big wheel was in the background.
Right.
On Pixar Pier. They have more villains to see. Their villains are good. I mean, the interaction is good. I don't know. I like them both. I do.
Yeah, the villains out there, though, the interaction, because the villain is at pretty much every candy.
And rare villains, too. It's
Yes.
not just your usual Queen or Maleficent.
Right.
And, the quote-unquote actors out there are fantastic. They are
The-
scary.
The one that really got me in Oogie Boogie Bash was the character from Coco.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
And he was actually playing the guitar and singing.
Oh, so
in
good.
character. I don't know the name of the character, and I apologize. But he was fantastic.
I know it is just escaping me right now, but he's pretty cool.
He was very cool, actually. And Bruno was there. and Mother Gothel, I think, was someplace.
She was.
Agatha from WandaVision was there.
She was.
So you got to see a lot of characters that
We don't normally see.
we don't normally
here.
see here. So that was what made that really cool. So Oogie Boogie Bash is a great time. If you can get out there for that, make sure you do. Check it out. It's a fun time. But Mickey's Not So Scary is also a pretty good time.
Yeah. You know what? Here's the thing. I think that it's because I'm so familiar with Not So Scary, and I've only done Oogie Boogie Bash once.
Right.
So it would be easy to say I like Oogie Boogie better
Right.
because it was new and
Yeah.
exciting. But I think that like if it was reversed and we lived out there and that's when we went to all the time, we probably like Not So Scary better.
Probably. And the one thing about Oogie out there too, and we didn't get to do everything, but we were exhausted because we had already covered D23 for 2 solid days at that point. And then we went to the party after the full day at the convention center.
Yeah.
We were exhausted. I know we almost stayed to the end, but I don't think we made it.
We
all
didn't
the way
make it to the end
No, not
because
all
then
the
we
way
had to
there.
be up again in the morning and cover more stuff.
Yeah.
But I was really glad that we got to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I know people that go out there just for Oogie Boogie
Oh, yeah.
Bash. I wish that they were doing it with D23 like they did it last year.
Yeah,
It
that-
like starts 2 weeks after or something like that.
Yeah, I
doesn't
know.
it?
They kind of missed the mark, and it was cool because we got to see the overlay last year, and we got to do the Oogie Boogie Bash or 2 years ago, I'm sorry, when we were at D23. We got to see both of
Yeah.
those. So this year we're going to miss out on the overlay. We're not going to be there for Oogie Boogie.
Bad timing.
It is. And like you said, it's 2 weeks, but it is what it is. So I guess that's it. Do you have anything else you wanted to talk about before we?
No.
No.
Just as far as like this podcast, Mind Daydream Believing podcast this week was so I've been answering listener questions, and this past week was a kind of one that took a lot out of me
Yes.
because I guess I hate the word vulnerable, but I guess you could say vulnerable, like talking about things that are my inner thoughts and things that have affected me.
Right.
And the reason that I was so, so honest, even if some things are kind of embarrassing to admit you feel that way, but I think it's important to be honest so that other people know they're not alone.
Yes.
And I hope that this week's show or last Thursday's show really helps a lot of people out.
Right.
So that's what I'm trying to do.
It was a really good show because after you recorded it, you were like, and I didn't have time to listen to it before we put it out. Usually I listen to it after I edit it, then we listen to it, and then we put it out, but we had to get it out. The time was getting
Yeah,
close.
so I recorded it and just threw it to the wind, hoping for
Yeah.
the best.
And then we listened to it after, and it was a great show. It was a really good show. So if you're not subscribed already to Daydream Believing podcast, please do so. Just whatever, if you use iHeartRadio, if you use Apple Music, if you use Spotify,
Yeah, I would love it
or
for you guys
Amazon.
to check it out.
Check it out.
please.
Yeah, give it a listen. See how you guys like it. If you like it, subscribe. Michelle's very open on there. She's not. You get to know more about her, some of the things she's dealt with. But she also is trying to help other people. Maybe things that people have fear about. Don't have fear about it. Just try stuff.
Yeah, and it's like I'm not an expert by far, but I've been through a lot of crap, so it's like the same thing.
So
Something
anyway,
like that.
so make sure you check out Daydream Believing podcast. That one drops on Thursdays.
And then tomorrow we'll be recording the live podcast show with Greg,
Yes. So we
and
record
that
on
one drops
Tuesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah, we record that one every Tuesday, and that one drops on Wednesday. And then, of course, the TMSM weekly podcast that drops on Mondays right around 7 o'clock. Depends how fast I can get the editing done because it's already like 20 to 7. So I don't think this will be out by 7 tonight, but it'll be out shortly thereafter. But I also want to give a shout out to MEI Mouse Van Travel, our official sponsor of the Main Street Mouse. Becky and her team can help you guys with any travel needs you need, whether it be Disney, Universal, or just anything. Royal Caribbean, any cruises, any
place you want to
destination.
go.
They can help you out with that. So reach out to them. There's links all over our site. Click on any links, fill out a form, and somebody will get back to you about that. Also, make sure to check out TMSM Radio. It's actually going right now. It's in the Marvel Hour, so it's playing Marvel music
It's
right
the
now.
Marvel Hour.
It's the Marvel Hour, 2 hours of Marvel music from the movies and such. So check that out. If you guys have any questions or you just want to reach out and tell us if you guys like this show, shoot us an email at Michelle with 1 L at themainstreetmouse.com or Scott at themainstreetmouse.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, wherever you message us, one of us will get the message somehow, some way. And if you guys just have feedback, if you guys just like the show, let us know what you like, what you don't like.
Don't tell us what you don't like because it'll hurt my feelings.
That's true.
So
Don't-
if you have something mean to say, don't email us.
Now we're going to get all mean emails, you watch. But if you have ideas, if you have questions, You can shoot us questions there. We might not do a whole show on a question, but if you have a question about something at Disney and you just want to know our opinion, send it over. We'll answer it on the air for you.
Whereas my podcast, if you have a good question, I'll probably make a whole show about
It'll
it.
become a whole show. So, but I just want to thank you guys so much for listening. We appreciate it so much. Make sure you guys subscribe and follow us each week so you stay updated with the new shows when they drop. If you subscribe, you'll automatically get it notified to you that it's out. We also do put it on Facebook and such to where you guys can go listen to it after it drops.
Yeah. So with that,
go ahead and sign us off, Michelle.
Okay, so like Scott just said, thank you so much for all the support for the past almost 14 years. Oh my gosh. With all of our ventures, whether it is the Main Street Mouse, Lost Princess Apparel, the podcast, House of Mouse Expo, we could not do any of it without you. So please know that we are humbled and grateful for all of your support. And we hope you have a magical week ahead. And we will see you real soon.
Our trip around the Magic Kingdom is almost complete. I can't thank you enough for spending part of your day with me. And I hope you've enjoyed your journey as much as I've appreciated being a part of it.
Ladies and gentlemen, please gather your belongings, watch your head and step as you exit, and take small children by the hand.
On behalf of our entire flight crew, thanks for soaring with us.
Now I will raise the safety bar, and a ghost will follow you home.
Some imagination, huh?